Hello and welcome to my channel on the Hook Crochet, where we talk about wearable crochet style. And let's find out what's been on the hook. This week, lots have been on the hook. I have been a busy bee, and I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I did lots of crafty things for yourself and for others, and I enjoy doing that myself. I am bringing you some things today that will hopefully inspire you, will be informative to you, and will be interesting to you. So hopefully that will be good for you if you're a crocheter. If you're not a crocheter, please stay with us. You might see something that will inspire you to learn to crochet. It's not hard to do, and the more you practice, the better off you are. A tiny story. When I was young, I was probably 6, maybe 5, and my brother and I were bored one day, so my mother decided to teach us to crochet. She taught my brother to crochet as well as me. And the first task that we had was to learn to chain, which chain is the very first building block of crochet. You have to learn how to chain. And we learned how to chain, and then she gave us each a skein of yarn and a hook. And she said that we had to chain all the way around the house one time. And it took us a whole day to do that, but we did get it done. Of course, we were competing with each other, so that made it go a lot faster. That's how I learned to crochet, by just repeating. I then learned how to do other stitches. My brother went on to start fixing cars, so he wasn't interested in crochet. But I remember that that was my first experience with practicing a stitch. And since then, I've been crocheting for many decades, and I won't tell you how many. And I was inspired late in life by her tenacity to show us how to do something and how to practice it and practice it and practice it until we became experts. And I was an expert chainer for a long time, but of course I learned other stitches. So I just wanted to bring you that short story. For those of you who learn to crochet and then you give up after a day or two, I totally get that. But it's not that hard to do. Now, knitting is my problem. I have a problem knitting because I want it to be perfect the first time. I want it to go smoothly and quickly, and that's not going to happen. I realize that, but now I need to try to spend a little bit of time learning to knit. I'd like to learn to knit socks. I don't like to make socks. Crocheting socks and knitting socks are totally different. And I still think that knitting might be the better vehicle for a sock. It's just smoother, and the stitches are smaller and flatter. So I think that lends itself better to making socks and maybe even making hats, things like that. And I would love to learn to knit so I can knit a sweater. But right now I am a crocheter. I enjoy it. I do a lot of it. As you know, between videos I am working because I set goals for myself to show you what I've done and to inspire you to do these things on your own. So I'm going to work across my desk today, as I usually do on Mondays. It's a little bit faster paced than the late week videos. I hope you're enjoying those. I do get a lot of great comments about how it is a little bit slower. I do book reviews. I do in-depth talks about projects that I'm doing. Last week I showed how I design sweaters. If you haven't watched that, you should go back and look at it. It's very fun to watch. You might be inspired to design your own sweater. I encourage that among people who watch me. I think it's a wonderful thing if you design your own sweater, and it should fit the first time. Today, in starting with what I'm wearing the Highlander, which many of you know was last year's winter sweater. This is what it looks like on the Etsy shop. Now, I did make it a second time. I always recommend that you make my patterns and other patterns 2 times, at least twice, so that you will be more confident the second time around. It will be exactly how you want it. You might want to change the yarn or the hook size to make it different. So last year I made the Highlander as I'm wearing it. I made this from James Brett Marbled Chunky, so it's a size 5 yarn. And I will stand up so you can see it. This is a huge sweater, and I put a very boxy fit with this because it was a chunky yarn. I just wanted something very casual to wear in the wintertime that I could wear a turtleneck under. So this is what it looks like. This has 16 inches of ease. I know that's a lot of ease, but 16 inches of ease is a very casual sweater. Now I'll stand to the side and I'll show you how far I can pull this sweater up in the front. But this is a very casual sweater. I enjoy wearing it. I'm going to model it for you. Just turn around a little bit so you can see how it looks. I'm wearing a chartreuse turtleneck, very thin turtleneck underneath it so that it will keep me warm, and it's really necessary because I designed the sweater to not be tightly crocheted. It is loosely crocheted, and it's crocheted using treble stitches, half doubles, crab stitch. I used several stitches to make this sweater, and I like it because it's easy to wear. It's very loose, and actually it's a little bit drapey. Now, I did not crochet the sleeves across like I've been doing in some of my patterns. These sleeves are set in, but they're not set in the way you normally would imagine. You lay the sweater out flat, and then you crochet the sleeves on, and then you sew the underarm seam. So you can actually shape the sleeve to not be so wide at the bottom, and then put a little edging on it. I think I just edged this with crab stitch. I did not put a very complicated edging at the bottom of the sleeve. I just decreased a little bit, and then I put an edging down here at the bottom of the crab stitch, and it worked out great. I used it at the sleeves, I used it at the bottom of the sweater as well, and also around the neck. So it's a very casual sweater. I love this sweater. I wore it all last winter, and I decided that I would make it again. And so I've asked Crystal to model the other version of my Highlander sweater. This is also made with James Brett Marble Chunky. Love, love, love this yarn. It's a size 5 bulky, and this is the brown version. This is the Highlander color, which was the original color for my pattern. And I just love the green and chartreuse together. This is, again, I'll show you. The yarn is kind of a deep green and a chartreuse wound together. It's beautifully done. And this is the beige version right here. It's a little bit stripy. This is not stripy at all. This is a little bit stripy, but I do love how it turned out. And using the long stitches makes this very drapey. I also crocheted it the same way, so it's got a lot of ease in it. It has 16 inches of ease around the bottom. This is what the back looks like. Again, I'm not a big fan of stripy yarn, and so this striped out a little bit odd in the back because it turned from the beige to the black right here, and I don't love that, but you know, that's the way it is when you use a yarn that changes colors. You just can't help that. The only way you could change that is to use your own stripes and use different yarns to do that. But it's a lot easier just to use the yarn as it comes and enjoy how it turns out. And you never know what it's going to look like. See down here at the bottom, it's very dark at the very bottom. So this is made exactly like this sweater, only with a different yarn. So you can see that you can change the look of a pattern just by changing the yarn out. You can also make the sweater with a worsted yarn. There would be no problem with that. And actually the stitches might look a little more defined. This is the treble stitch row right here, if you can see that. And what that does is it takes some of the bulk out of the fabric so that it makes it a little bit drapier and it hangs a little bit nicer. So I just wanted to show you that. And of course, as you use this kind of yarn, the sleeves will be stripy going this way. So you can see that. And when you lay your sleeve down, it just turns out, you know, fairly good. I tried to match the yarn a little bit, but you know what, after a while I just said forget it. I'm just going to crochet it as it came, and it turned out just really nice. I'm not worried about it at all, but it is a different look from this sweater that I made from it. That solid color. It's actually two colors together, but they are actually solid. There's no striping in this particular yarn that I use. James Brett Chunky. It's still available on Love Crafts. Thank you, Crystal. It's still available on Love Crafts, so you can buy it there. If you just type in James Brett Chunky marbled yarn, and that's what this is, on Google or DuckDuckGo, whatever search engine you use. Many different websites like yarn.com, Lovecrafts, and there are several others that come up there, so you can try that. If you are interested in making this, it's on my Etsy shop. It's called the Highlander, and it's very, very easy to crochet. So it is for beginner crocheters. What I tried to do with this is use some interesting stitches that were not difficult to do, and to make the sweater look a little bit less than just, you know, a plain fabric, to use the different stitch patterns to create the interest in the sweater. Next on my desk is an update about the Persian Tiles throw. This is a throw that I saw advertised on the back of a magazine, a crochet magazine, I don't know, about a month ago, I guess, and I just went on about it. And this is a picture of the throw itself. It's 46 by 46. It is called the Persian Tiles throw, and you can get it at Mary Maxim. It is on back order now. It will be shipped out on the 12th of February, and I'm excited about that. It was over a month ago that I ordered the Persian Tiles throw. I don't usually do this kind of thing, but I was so taken by the beauty of the design and all the different motifs that are in here. Now, they use only one or two different motifs, but or maybe they use a small one and a large one, but they're all just different colors. And in the kit, they send you all the different colors, which I do not have in my stash. I just don't have all those beautiful colors, so I thought I would just order it. And one of my wonderful subscribers named Carrie sent me an email and said, I sent you a gift code for that Persian Tiles throw. Well, I had already put my credit card in to pay for it. Well, because it was on back order, I was able to use the gift card. So thank you, Carrie. Your gift card went toward the purchase of the actual Persian Tiles throw that you had sent it for. So thank you so very much. I appreciate that. I called Mary Maxim this morning and had them apply that to the purchase. So since they hadn't charged my card yet, I could use the gift code. So again, thank you, Carrie, for your very generous gift. Next on my list is to talk about my City Shadows pullover. That was on my Instagram post the other day. I posted the blocking of the sweater where I showed the sweater in a little tub with this Rapture. This is a little bit of a sudsy chemical, I guess, that you can soak your new garment in. If it's wool or a wool blend, you can soak your garment in that, and well, you could probably use it on acrylic. I just don't know. I don't know. But it smells really nice. This is the jasmine aroma, and it's just wonderful. I really like it. It makes your sweater smell so good, because if you've ever wet wool, you know it smells kind of like a wet dog or a wet sheep. It's going to smell like a wet sheep. So if you use this Rapture to, or there are other brands too, you can use these to soak your sweater in after you finish crocheting it, and then you squeeze it through and let it sit for 15 minutes. Then you take it out and you roll it in some towels. I use 2 very large bath towels to roll my sweater in. I rolled it up and I squeezed it, I let it sit for a little while, and then I took it downstairs to my craft room. And this is what it looks like. I'll put a picture one or the other place up here, but if I can get it up there. I put a picture of the sweater and how it looked when I finished it. I never showed anyone that. I just finished it and I immediately blocked it. So it's on the blocks, and I'll probably be wearing that on Thursday in my late week video, and I'll also be able to release the pattern at that point. It's all written. I wrote it as I went along so I wouldn't make any mistakes, and that will be ready to go as well this weekend. So if you are in the community, be sure to sign up. If you're not, you're in the community, you will receive a substantial discount for that pattern if you're interested in making it. I made it with City Tweed, which is a again, this is the label that comes on the yarn. It's a City Tweed DK weight. You can get this from Knit Picks, and I always put a link down in the description. I'm not sponsored by any of these people, but I do love this yarn. This is one of the colors. This is called Brocade, And this is one of the colors in another project that I'm going to talk about in just a couple of minutes. But the City Tweed is done in the colorway Obsidian. And I've said that many times. Just wanted you to see a picture of it, and I'll be wearing it on Thursday. Next on my list to talk about is, again, the crochet calendar that I found at Bed Bath & Beyond when I was shopping a couple weeks ago. I bought 3 of these. This is my copy. The others have officially been sent out. So I use those in giveaways, and those have been sent out to the winners. So I'm excited about that. I hope y'all enjoy your new crochet calendar. Now, what I wanted to do was each month, which is a different pattern. This, for example, is the month of February. And it's just an Afghan square or maybe a coaster or a little mug rug or something that you can use. And I thought, well, I'm going to make each one of these patterns each month. It won't take long. It's just a little square. And if there's an Afghan on there, I'll just make one square and show it to you. This is the pattern for that particular month. This is for February, and it's called pot holders. So they're calling these pot holders. I'm not making them out of cotton. I just grabbed some size 4 yarn out of my stash that I had used for other projects. And I have made, to this point where the green is right there, I have made the 4 petal flower that goes in the middle. And here's what it looks like, made from the Archangel yarn. I made my Archangel sweater from. I just grabbed it and I thought, well, that's pretty. I really need some yellow to work with that. I don't have any yellow, solid yellow worsted. I may pick some up at the store or something. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And hopefully I can finish this before the end of the month. But that is the February pattern that's in the crochet calendar book. Well, I love the way it looks. I'm going to be fine with that. I'm just going to put it away for a couple of days. My next project that I want to talk to you about is one that I've been working on for about a week, and my inspiration was the Marie Wallen beautiful scarf that she made out of motifs, and used the very pretty colors from the Rowan Felted Tweed line of yarn. I decided to use the City Tweed, which I've talked about before. I'm not going to belabor this, but I did want to tell you that I finished the motifs that I'm going to use for my cowl, and I'm going to call it the Irish Cowl. And that's a shout out to Marie Wallen, but it is not her pattern. I used a totally different pattern, and even the colors aren't the same. I changed up some of the colors. These are the colors that I ended up with. I have them in a pretty tray here. Let me get this down here. These are the colors that I decided to use, and as you'll notice in the very middle here, I've got a chartreuse tweed. I had to have it. I don't know. I love chartreuse. As you can tell, I'm wearing it today. So I used the chartreuse tweed, and here's a close-up of it. And it's not called chartreuse. It's called Grove, Grove. Another beautiful color from City Tweed DK. Now, I try to keep these labeled by cutting off the labels. This is what I did. I cut off the label edges because I know what it's made of. And I just took the middle part in the color that it was, and I just stuck it down in the middle of the yarn ball because I don't want to forget what colors these are. If I want to reorder, I want to be sure I have the right color because there are a lot of these colors. And some of them are very, very similar. Some of the dark greens are hard to tell apart on the screen, so I would need to know the names of those colors. I also introduced this color, which is called Habanero. This is a little bit of a brownish red, more brown than red, but it is very compatible with the red that I selected, which is Romance. I love those two together. They're not oddball looking colors. And then I lined up the colors how I wanted them to be presented in the motif that I created. And I did create this. This is my creation. This is not Marie Wallen's creation, but it is her inspiration to make a cowl out of these motifs. I'm going to show you the motif that I designed and the different colors that I made it from very quickly, and these will go in a cowl. And I'm going to join them together with something my mother used to tell me was a Celtic join, and I never really paid any attention to what she was doing. She made a lot of afghans and motifs and things like that, and because I was young, I paid absolutely no attention to what she was doing. But she did give me a lot of her afghans, and I have those in my living room. I have them in a rattan basket, and we grab those in the wintertime to warm up on the couch or in our chairs. And they're so beautiful. I just didn't realize how beautiful they were until she was gone. And I went to my Afghan stash and I realized that she had made me several. Celtic join is a lacy join of motifs, and I'm going to try to design one. I've seen several pictures of Celtic joins and I like them, but they're a little bit too involved. I want to make a simpler version of the Celtic join so that I can write it in a pattern and you can actually recreate it. This is for the Irish Cowl, and let me show you the motifs that I've come up with. Now, this, I will have to block all of these squares because they're, as I call them, catty-wampered, but that's a southern term. They are not even until you block them, and then you can make them 4.5 by 4.5, which is what the measurement is for these particular motifs that I've designed. And this is 3 different colors, the green, beige, and the gray around the edge. Now, I think that the join is going to be in a gray tone. I don't know what it is exactly going to be. Maybe the obsidian. I might use that. If I have enough of that left over, I might use that for the join because it's a very neutral color. The second motif is purple, gray, and the blood red, or the little bit off color red that I have. This is it right here. This is another color red. So let me show you the reds that I have because they're very fascinating. Here are the 3. This is almost a red, but not really. These are the 2 reds that I have. And one is a cooler red and one is a warmer red, just a little bit. They're just different, but they're on different motifs. I didn't combine them on the same motif. This is a purple, 2 purples together, or the red. This is a blood red and a purple with the gray in the middle. So that's really pretty as well. I tried to mix up the colors as much as I could. This is the green with the romance red and then the gray center. So that's another one. This is the same one, only with the colors reversed. So this has the green in the middle, the red, and then the gray. Here is the one that is the opposite color. This one has green on the outside. So that's what I did with those, just to mix it up a little bit. And then for my Grove color, which is the what I consider more of a chartreuse, this is how I combined it. I used the kind of the brown color habanero around the edge, and then the cool green, and then the chartreuse in the middle. The complement to that one is the cool green around the outside, then the chartreuse, and then the habanero color in the middle. So those are the 2 that are similar but not the same. And I'm pretty sure I showed you this one, but this is the green, beige, and gray. So I have 7 motifs. Each one is 4.5 inches wide. And when I have them joined together, that will stretch out to about 30 inches around, which is a very good measurement for a cowl around the neck. The original one that I had was this color, and I don't think it fits in with anything. I don't like the blue. Most of these motifs have dark colors along the edge, and this one just didn't fit in. Look, see, I didn't like that. I may use that for a coaster or something, I don't know. But I don't think I'm going to incorporate that one in. And then these will be joined with a dark gray Celtic. So I think it's going to be pretty. It's called the Irish Cowl, and that is a shout out to Marie Wallen as the inspiration for this idea. But again, I'm not using her motif or her join, either one. For those who've asked me about the Malabrigo Rios Archangel Sweater version 2 directions, I have them. They're here. I just haven't typed them out yet. So once I have that done, I will decide how I'm going to distribute those. For people that want these instructions, they're not too many. This is only going to be probably a page that there it is. See, I have notes here about the version 2 that I made in the pink Rosalinda worsted by Malabrigo. So I will maybe put that out on my Etsy shop for, they won't let me put free patterns out on Etsy. So as far as I know, I asked and I never got an answer, but I've not been on anyone's website that had a free pattern on Etsy. Most of them are on their websites or whatever. So I might have to charge $1 for it or $1.50 or something. But if you've already bought the Archangel sweater, then these instructions would give you the directions for a different kind of sweater. So I figured 2 sweaters and the cost wouldn't be that much. And if you have a discount, you can also use it on these alternative version instructions as well. So that's probably how I'll do it. I'll just put it out there, and if you want it, you can click on it and buy it for $1.50, or you can just figure it out on your own. I did actually do a video where I explained everything in detail, but I know some of you want to have it written down. I totally get that. So I'm going to try to have that out in the next week. I'm sorry it's been so long, but I have a lot of projects going on, and I wanted to be sure that I was correct about the version 2 instructions. So I have those, I think I have those nailed down. So I will get those out to you very, very shortly. This is called the Sea and Sky Pullover. It is done with fingering yarn, wool fingering yarn. It's turned out so pretty. I've been working on this weekend. It's going to be a 3/4 to an above elbow sleeve. I'm going to have a cuff on the end of it, and it has a special rib at the bottom. Now, I'm not a real fan of ribs. When I was designing this sweater last year, I put it away because I was just covered up with other projects. But this is a rib that I thought you might like to see that. And those of you who've been watching me for a long time will have remembered this. This is a rib that is very, very stretchy, actually. And it's done differently from any other I've seen. Now, somebody may have done this, I don't know, but I designed it to be quite wide. It's probably 2 inches wide here. And the sweater is a combination of cross stitches and other stitches. Now, I wanted to make it a little bit different. The neckline comes down, and it has 2 little corners here, which I kind of like that. I like that style of neckline. But this is how it looks. It's going to be very pretty. It's very, very lightweight. It is a wool fingering yarn that was gifted to me by Glenda at Creative Grandma, and I told her I was designing a pattern for it and I would get right back to her, and it's been a whole year, and I'm really embarrassed about that. Glenda, if you're watching, I am working on this, and I will send you a free pattern because I should have had this out long before now, but it's so squishy and wonderful. I love this yarn. I designed another fingering yarn pattern out of this, and it was called the Summer Essentials, and I don't have it right here on my desk, but it's out on my Etsy shop, and it's the version of this done in pink, and it is so pretty. I received that in my Knit Crate box, and I immediately ordered some more for a sweater quantity. I thought I'll go ahead and make a fingering weight sweater for maybe early spring when it's still cool and you can wear wool, and the sleeves aren't all the way down to your wrist. They're just half sleeves, and that way you can have a Summer Essentials or you can have a Sea and Sky pullover. There'll be 2 different sweaters made from the same wool but in a different way. So I just wanted to bring you this. I want to show you more detail maybe on Thursday or next Monday. I'll let you know, and I may have it finished by then, I don't know, but I will probably be blocking this and it will show up on my Instagram feed. So be sure to join the Instagram feed if you want to see what I'm doing between videos. Now, talking about giveaways. Let's talk giveaways. Last week I showed that I was giving away a Plentiful by Bernat ball of yarn. This has 952 yards on it. It's the Bernat Plentiful in the blood orange color. A lot of you said you'd love to have this, and it makes a huge garment or 2 garments. I'd say you could probably get 2 garments out of this. There's so many yards on here. I think the Cardi vest is what I used to make mine out of. It's a different colorway, but it is the same yarn, and I really enjoyed working with it. You cannot frog this out, though. You have to be very careful. You can frog it out a little bit, but honestly, it has such a beautiful halo on it that you can't really frog it out all that well. So you have to choose something very simple to make, and the Cardi vest is very, very simple. You just straight rows. There's no decreasing or increasing on that particular pattern. You might find it very easy to utilize that pattern if you have some of this Plentiful yarn. So we're going to turn the camera to the computer and find out who wins this big ball of Plentiful yarn this week. Here we are at the computer, and the URL from last Monday is there. The word Plentiful is there. That means the keyword. So let's find out how many people wrote a comment with the word Plentiful. And that would be 363 comments. So 363 subscribers are out there looking to see if they won the Plentiful yarn. So let's find out who wins the Plentiful yarn this week. Linda Monday. Linda Monday. And there's her word, Plentiful, right there. So Linda, congratulations. You've won the Plentiful yarn for this week. Linda, congratulations. Send me your mailing address so that I can send that out to you. Now, I still have 2 gifts that have not been claimed, and let me grab those real quick. I still have the Bulky Crochet magazine for Kimberly Needham. Kimberly Needham, this is ready to go to you, but I have not received an email. Now, if you've sent me one, please resend it and put "I'm a winner" in the subject line or something like that, so I'll know that you're the winner of this magazine. I want to send it out to you. It's ready to be addressed, so let's get that out to you as soon as possible. Also, last week, Susan won the 3 skeins of Hygge yarn in the pearl color. Very beautiful yarn, and I have not heard from her either. So those are 2 gifts that are waiting to be awarded, so please get in touch with me. And next week we may have to see about getting another winner for one or both of those gifts, because I want to get those out to you. Now, for next Monday, I have gone through my stash and I have found some things that you might like to have. First of all, I found the coral color in True Boo Lion yarn. This is this beautiful yarn, and I use this to make a garment with, and I had 1 skein and some left over, and I want to send that to somebody. I also, to that same person, want to send 2 of these in the color white. Let's see if it's, yeah, 2 of these in the color white, the True Boo yarn, the same kind of yarn. So the winner next week will receive 3 full skeins of True Boo and then a partial skein of True Boo as well. So that will be giveaway winner number 1. Giveaway winner number 2 will receive the Valentine gift. Now, I know Valentine's is coming up, and it's probably too late to make something for Valentine's, but I wanted to give away some Valentine yarn. And this is the Comfy Cotton beautiful yarn in the color Lovey Dovey, and this was released last year, if I'm not mistaken, from Lion Brand in the color Lovey Dovey. It's just, you know, it's pink and dark pinks, a little bit of cream color in there. It's really, really pretty. I will not have time to make this up. So giveaway winner number 2 next week will receive 2 cakes of Lovey Dovey Comfy Cotton. That's plenty to make a really pretty sweater with, or some other garment, or if you want to make something else, that's fine as well. So the winner number 2 will receive 2 cakes of Comfy Cotton in the Lovey Dovey color next week. Now, I've kind of gone long with this video. I apologize for that, but I had lots to talk about. And I have a lot to talk about on Thursday this week as well. And Joe from Joe for Totes, who makes custom project bags, has sent me a video. And I want to include that on my late week video this Thursday, so be watching for that. In order to be part of the giveaway for next Monday, first write a comment to this video, and in the comment your keyword should be love, L-O-V-E. That's easy. The keyword is love for next Monday. So be sure to put that in the comment so that you'll be in the running for one of these 2 gifts. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed bringing it to you. I hope you found something inspirational, informative, or interesting in this video. So please like the video down right below my picture here. Just like the video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed if you want to see more. So I hope you have a wonderful week. I will see you again on Thursday when we find out what's on the hook.